All right, so I like how we play cable. My my biggest concern is actually big picture is that this is a big fake out in long bonds. So I was just thinking, refreshing the coffee here. I think it really is going to have to do, guys, with this 28.65 level. If that starts to give way, you're going to see the VIX start to make new highs also, probably above that 1838 level. And there's just some pockets of hot air there in stocks. Risk kind of happens slowly and then it happens all at once. So you'll see this 20 area, whether or not we're going to kind of keep keep stocks in line with what they've been doing. And then when we've kind of thought we would see some vol here in October, if that gives way, then you could see a whole nother much bigger move down in equity. So really got to watch kind of these areas that we talked about earlier. Daily on Amazon, Apple's 215 level. Russell already broke. We were watching the NASDAQ, right, Santiago? And um, kind of just barely hanging on to the bands here. And if that scenario plays out, then you're gonna have to see how bonds trade. But man, it would be pretty nasty if everybody gets stopped out. The bulls, have to stop and take a lot of risk down. Then you have a lot of new shorts in the market thinking it's a breakout. And if we got an equities type of risk off move, we've got to be careful if this long bond doesn't come flying back the other way. So that's kind of what I care about being short tens here, is whether or not we can stay along this path of lower highs. So you don't have to panic if you get above 25, 26. If you're short with me, you still have 118 the buck. But if we start to get above there and then S&Ps, if they start to break down, then I think we got to take this short risk off. We're just better off waiting and seeing. So that's the scenario in the risk off move. The other scenario is that stocks hold here and move right back to 29.20. And if that's the case, tens could be at new lows. So we're still hanging out here at pi on 30s. It's probably 138 there where there's risk, another half a point higher. Does that make sense to you guys? I don't know if any of you are playing the bond market. It's just kind of a very tricky spot since last week. And we still have our inverse head and shoulders playing out here in S&Ps. Let's watch our 28.97 level. Hey, what's going on, Douglas? What else, guys? You've got the gold trade pretty much down. If you're short oil with me, we're giving this a little bit of a short, putting a little bit of a short back out. And it'll be a little bit of a hedge against this risk off move if it plays out. But even if this backs up and the 4 hour doesn't roll over, we got some room to sell some more again here into the 76 level where it backed off last time. So I'm going to try to pick some spots between here and 77 and try to work a core short. Yeah, we talked about gold. And then on the euro, made a couple sales this morning. I actually still want it to bounce back a little bit higher. I mean, the 30-minute might be it. We might go right to 113. I don't know how EM is going to hold in if we go back to 113. So like your Brazil short, Santiago, I should look at some puts with you on that when we wrap up here. I'm still in these EM puts, which we had a good call. But this might even take another leg down if the dollar's going to go. If euro goes back to 113. To me, that's just spells out risk off if the dollar keeps rallying. So I think that's going to be good for U.S. stocks. Don't seem to care about that. I think Europe does. So everything like Europe, China, all that growth slowing, that same trade EM, we're at levels where you definitely are short covering opportunity. And then Tesla, we do want a little bit of a bounce higher to come out of some of the short side of these legs and then put some longer dated puts back out. See if that implied vol comes off. I don't know if I'll get involved until closer to 270. Since we bought these 260s, it doesn't look like we're probably going to make a new high. That's okay. So just to recap what we did, guys, well today, this was a pretty good example of being day trade contrarian. And then I liked how we flipped. There is anybody still short? We had just had a BCI at the 30. I'm still a little bit short cable. I'm gonna cover some more here, cover some more into the lows from earlier. Santiago, you're still in your longs and treasuries? All right. You might get rewarded for that. I got a little bit more aggressive last week than I probably should have. That doesn't mean I won't get right back in there with you. It's just kind of to me, it's a weird spot. It's like you're off sides and then you're on sides and then you're back off sides, like crisscrossed over the blue line. So on cable, so it was just a matter of coming in, and I know I don't want you guys normally looking too far back when you want a day trade. Like I don't want you looking back to daily support or I don't really want you spending too much time on the higher time frames, but when you do know that there's some support here, and what I saw like on my phone was the 200 and pi. So I wasn't even really keying off the support. I just saw that pi and the 200 were here. So I don't like to be short into those averages, right? And then I look back and I say, all right, there's support there. So you can say, all right, where's my risk? Which is pretty obvious, right? If this is pi and this is the old support, you got your risk right here. So where the cycle was, which was pretty low, I decided to be long here. I came out of a little bit there, we rebought into the dip together here, and then we made money here all the way up and then flipped and went short, right? Perfectly timed there. And we've been short this way back down. 30-minute hasn't reversed. The 15 minutes, we basically played 4 cycles. So it was long coming out on the top of the 15-minute, coming back in at the bottom of the 15-minute, and then coming out. You know, if you were just playing this, guys, what did you have here? Topping tail, swing line, sell setup with the bands, with the cycle, classic, boom, short, stop above the high, and there's your follow through. So that's what the 15-minute looks like. But then the 5-minute we talked about also, it matters how a market gets to a certain level. So when we were on the way up here, we took some profits into the bands, we took some into this resistance, and then we moved to this resistance here, and we took And then we said between here and here, we said this was a pretty strong move up, but if the market pulled back first, we're going to buy into that wall, right? And then the idea was to play for a secondary bounce. So the idea was to play secondary move. And sometimes that secondary one's longer. But we said, if you don't get the pullback, and it matters how a market gets to a certain area, if you just go in a straight line, then the opportunity was going to be completely come out and then go short. And that was a perfect call before it even happened. Exactly what took place. We talked about this is a big area of resistance, underside of this, plus the pi, plus the 200. So we were out of our longs and then feeding this short 3 or 4 times. And then we talked about the 1 minute you could even add. You could add it here on the 1 minute. It was very shallow bounce, but we talked. I sold another piece right there too. So we sold. Got the higher low. Looked for the bounce back up this wall here. We said we could short more into this bounce, and then it was pretty shallow, and then get the move down. Cover new lows. So good trading on cable, even on a day when it didn't really have that much energy in the market, really. And then what we did pretty good with our dragon, topping tail. Good job, guys. Dragon. So we said, all right, just in case cable doesn't have the contrarian rally, you could maybe sell a small piece here as a hedge. Or we sold a little bit there, I think, and then here. And that trend didn't break. We started to pop up. Cable had its starting to get strong. So we just took off half of that, let it run up. And then we could have gotten short here with cable at the same time, but I was kind of playing it conservative. Had we gotten back to these levels, then I would have shorted dragon. But that's okay. We didn't get short dragon here. But then what we did good was just let this fall back to the second piece that we sold and scratched on that one. And that allowed us to set up short here. So that was a win-win. That's it, guys. Did everybody make money today? I know some of you took cable. I can never share that screen, the chat box. I'll just take a snap of it. So you guys can see in YouTube. All right, Rio, Michael. Santiago, I think I'm gonna look at that. Brazil short with you. Back here at pi. This implied vol still looks pretty high to you, right? Looks pretty rich. The daily cycles, I mean, we're back at 74 after huge move, right? And there's people that are looking at all these the weaker technicians are going to use that as, oh, this is a breakout, even though they're ignoring the fact that we came from here all the way to there. That's what I always tell you guys. Like, you don't want to buy new highs there. If this would have came up and did a bunch of work and then broke out, that would be different. But that's what I mean. That's like kind of like cable. How something gets there matters. We just basically went in a straight line. Like, that's the last thing you want to be doing is getting long here. Long here, maybe, contrarian long maybe after a strong move. But I don't know. I still think strong dollar is going to win out. I don't like EM. I'm gonna look at these 38 puts, and maybe I'll put ratio it by the 38s, and then sell the 40 calls, or sorry, the 40 puts. So buy like 6 38 strikes, and then you sell 3 40s, put ratio back spread. I think that's how I'll play it. And then if this does squeeze a little bit higher, I'll take those off and then just get more short into like 42. I think I take my risk up to like 44. But thanks for pointing that one out. I think that's pretty good opportunity. All right, you guys good? I think we're gonna jump on. Well, today's Tuesday. I don't think we're doing the crypto live room. Um, that's okay. Crypto's not doing anything anyway. All right, guys, you're welcome. I know. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your trading day.